Hello, and welcome back to Pleasantview. Last episode was focused on the police officers in town, so this episode is going to focus on the other side of the coin and the burglars that live here. So we're going to be visiting the Bear family that I have actually recently moved into this house. And we're also going to do a brief visit with the Cormier family, but let's start this out by going into this household with Sandy, Bruty, and Gordon King. So it's the morning. The family is still sleeping, but they're going to have to go up soon. In fact, Gordon is going to go to his job today, his dry cleaners, and actually Sandy is going to come with. They have the same work hours, so they're going to go together today to work. And well, a lot of things are, of course, going on around Gordon and Sandy at the moment. Their own business, if you can call it that, is expanding a little bit with lots of burglaries within Pleasantview and a lot of things going on. But there's also some sort of shift around them. And at the moment, Gordon isn't sure exactly what players are actively working around Pleasantview, and it feels a little bit like the calm before the storm for him, because things have been very serene and easy in Pleasantview, but all of a sudden there's a lot of movement in places where Gordon wouldn't have expected it, and a lot of things happening suggesting that some players have information that perhaps they shouldn't have for some reason, and Gordon is starting to suspect that there might be a mole within his own corporation somewhere, but he's not sure who he should suspect. And well, at the moment, I think that he's trying to draw everyone closer to be sure of his allies, to be sure that they're all under his thumb, and to make sure that they all need to do or want to do what he needs them to do, that is. And I think that that is something that Sandy is also working on. I think that they are discussing things very openly between them. I think that Sandy is both aware and also very willing to sort of do the dirty work for Gordon in some ways, that she is the one to put pressure on people and make sure that they know their place, you know? So I think that that is something that Gordon is having Sandy do, while he still plays the role as the kind grandfatherly figure for all of them. So that is something that probably Gordon is gonna want to do at work today, to make sure that everyone is under control within his own lines, and to see if he can sort of scope out if there is someone who's not honest at the moment. Yeah, they won't have to leave in an hour, but they will still have time to have some breakfast. So I guess they're gonna do that. Sandy, you can make the bed. And Julie, on the other hand, should also get up. She's going to school. And she's still fairly sheltered, actually, from the goings on around her parents, even though her boyfriend isn't. So she is going steady now with Nasim Cormier, and he started to get pulled into Gordon's organization. So even though both Sandy and Gordon are sheltering Julie from all of this, all of the darkness, at least Gordon, mainly, I think, wants to make sure that the boy who is seeing his daughter is under his complete control. And I think that Julie is suspecting that something is going on. She has noticed a change in Nasim's behavior as of late. Sandy doesn't really need to eat anything at the moment, so I think I'm just going to have her clean up a little bit. Maybe read a newspaper. Okay, apparently she decided to sit in her daughter's room. All right. I guess maybe Sandy is using this excuse to sort of snoop around her daughter's stuff, make sure that she knows everything that's going on with her. And yeah, she doesn't feel bad about going through her stuff at all, I don't think. So I can see that Jolie has a want to sneak out with Natalia, so that might be something that I do later. They're still best friends forever, ever since they were very young children. But she has also built up a relationship now with Hector Goth, which is interesting. So that's a new friendship that she probably wants to further. They're not best friends, but I think they could be if they interact some. Sadly enough, she also wants to be best friends with Brooke Miguel. So even though she's not really pulled into the organization in that sense, she still has all of these baddies around her that's influencing her life. So there we go. I think that I need to have them change into everyday. Sandy, you need to put down the newspaper. Julie is leaving for school. That's good. You can actually turn off this. And then let's go somewhere. So they have arrived here at the dry cleaners. And Gordon wants to check out the piano first thing. That's actually the Burbs piano, the old one. But yeah, so let's just start this with summoning in all of the employees, if you can call them that. All right, and even though it's a school day, Nasim is also joining them here today. Just skipping school casually. So there was actually a burglary since I played last, and once again it was the Burb family. Someone commented that supposedly the loot that the burglars are taking are showing up in their inventories. And it looks like I have some stuff here. Some reason Brooke doesn't have what she took though. So I don't know actually. I think that this was taken from Ivy Cooper actually. I think I recognize these things. This could have been anyone's car. Maybe it's his car even. But I guess for some reason the stuff aren't here. But I did write down the value of the stuff that she took. So it was a car worth 7,500 simoleons, and then a wall TV that's worth 8,000. So of course the car is not gonna go here downstairs into the hidden basement area. But I guess I could put in another TV here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna need to give them 8,000 so that they can get the TV. And then the car, like the resale value of that was around 5,000, I think. I think that was what it was worth. So I'm just gonna give them that as well. And then was this TV. Yep, there we go. And that was what was taken. So I'm gonna just remove my notes. Great. Well, so all of them are here, and well, similarly to what happened last time, where Dustin was furious with Amin because he had broken into his mother's house and stolen stuff. The same thing has happened again, and of course he's going to be furious with Brooke, but I also think that Dustin is really smelling something suspicious here. Like, why is my mother's house the target twice in a row like this? Is this something that's pre-planned? Who has been scheming about this? So I think that he's also very upset with Gordon for not, making it clear that his mother's house is off limits. So I think that he's gonna start by going up to Brooke and argue with her. And yeah, Brooke is pretty avoidant and defensive, and she's not the most kind person, of course. But I think that something is also holding Dustin back from straight out just attacking her like he attacked Amin. I mean, she's a woman after all. I don't think that he would just, punch her or something like that. Looks like he wants to shove Amin. Maybe it's like, did you have something to do with it, you bastard? Yeah. But more than anything, of course, Dustin is going to walk upstairs and argue with Gordon. Now, Gordon has gone somewhere. He's standing here. All right. So why don't you just make some coffee? And Sandy, for her part, I think is on the way downstairs, which is, oh, she's gonna poke Carol. So, yeah. She's been interacting a little bit with these guys. She absolutely detests Russ, and he detests her. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that Sandy has put a lot of pressure on him, of course, previous to this as well, making it very clear that he's in hers and Gordon's debt for helping him get the child, the adopted child that they helped him with. But I think that even before that, I think that they were sort of rivals and they really disliked each other. Looks like she's also sort of built a poor relationship with Carol to keep her in line. But it's a little bit better with Amin and Brooke, actually, looks like. Maybe that's something that will change as well. Just gonna help you out a bit. I think it might be that they're trying to use the staircase at the same time. I know that Tia Addict made a mod or an adjustment of these stairs so that several sims could use them at once. Maybe I should actually take the time to use that. My goodness. All right. So Dustin is approaching Gordon and he's going to question him. Like, why was my mother's house targeted once again? What's going on? This can't keep happening. Like, surely you know that that's off limits. And Gordon is, I think being a little defensive and saying it was just a mistake and that he's going to talk to the team again and trying to appease Dustin. He's very desperate to keep him thinking of him as a sort of fatherly figure in this case. So I think that he's going to, apologize about this and make Dustin believe that it was really a genuine mistake. I don't really think that it is a mistake, though. I think that Gordon might have his reasons for, keeping Dustin a bit off balance and to keep his relationship with his mother a bit tense. Because, of course, Dustin can't risk blowing his cover by being too in the know about what's going on. And the fact that he can't really talk openly about all of these things might be something that is putting a strain on his relationship with his mother. And that would definitely be in Gordon's best interests, So why don't you guys just walk downstairs where everyone is? And some of them, I think, can just sit down and chat here. I think that Dustin is not feeling particularly sociable at the moment. So I think he's going to head downstairs and work on his physical skills. Russ is actually playing the piano, which I don't want him to do. Maybe he can also practice his punching, and looks like Carol is on the way down to play poker. Actually, they can play poker together. That works. These guys, though, can sit down. How do Russ and Carol feel about each other? They're pretty indifferent. But maybe they're building a relationship now that they're actually sitting down and playing together. And I think that while they're sitting here and discussing things, I think that Gordon is turning to Nasim as well and asking him a little bit about his future plans. He is very close to being old enough to go to college after all, and I think that Gordon is interested in knowing what his plans are. And I think that Nasim's plans have been a bit on the rocks for a while. He is not sure exactly where he's headed and what he wants to do. And of course, he's feeling very unstable in general at the moment with his poor relationship with his stepfather and things not really being that good at home. He's still having anger within him about how his childhood was because he wasn't allowed to have a relationship with his father. And now that he's finally been like told who his father is, and he started to build a relationship with him, he's actually old enough to be at the retirement home, and he can't really do a lot of things with him as compared to how maybe things would have been if he would have been able to know him as a younger child. So he's feeling a betrayed and seeking stability here, which is a really poor choice, of course, but Nasim doesn't really understand that. And I think that he's leaning a lot on what these adults around him think and what their experience is. And I don't particularly think that these guys are that interested in society as a whole. They're pretty much disenchanted with how the world works, and they have their own ideas about what making a living should look like. I don't think that Gordon is really selling attending university to Nasim, rather the opposite, I think. I think he paints it as this waste of money and time that he would, like, it's an institution that just tries to take his money, not really give him any benefit, and that he's going to end up in debt without really having anything to show for it afterwards. So I think that Nasim is just asking about, what did Amin do? Did he attend college? And what did Brooke do? And, what other options are there? And these adults are just pulling him into this other world where maybe his life choices is not going to be as fruitful as he thinks. But of course, Sandy has other ideas about what she should do with her time, so she's going to head downstairs. And I think that she's going to just sit down and join these guys at the poker table for a bit. This is really what Sandy loves doing. She's interested in games, of course. She's been playing a lot of games in her life, and I think that she is very, very good at having a poker face and tricking people out of their money, So this is probably going to go in a direction that she's benefiting from. And this is also an opportunity to sort of needle these guys, to hold the power that she has over their heads and remind them who they're working for, and try to just scope out what their current mood is, and if she could consider either of them to be a mole that's working for someone else. And recently, Russ has actually fallen in love with Alvin, and they are now engaged, and Russ wants to marry him. So he's been focusing a lot on family recently, and of course Sandy sees the engagement ring on his finger, and I think that she's not very kind about it, very teasing, very, questioning what Russ can even offer in such a relationship and what Alvin sees in him, And she's really starting to get under his skin. And I actually think that eventually Russ is going to sort of throw the ships down, just stand up and just, shove her. Like, get that on my face, basically. And well, Sandy is lording over him again, making it clear who is in charge here, who has the power. And Russ doesn't exactly like that. And I think that that is going to be sort of the last straw for him, and he's going to just march out of here. Not going to be interested in sticking around after all of that. And I think that that being done, Sandy's going to turn to Carol, and she's going to insult her. I think that Carol is probably a kind of person who really takes pride in her own capabilities, and she's very stoic and doesn't really have sympathy for other people, but I think that she's very proud. So insults to her capabilities and what she's been able to offer so far in this organization is probably going to hit her pretty hard, and in a sense want to prove herself to both Sandy and Gordon, to show them that I'm not someone you should count out. I actually have great resources that I can use. So I think she tells Sandy something of that sort, and then also marches upstairs. She's gonna sit down at the table with the others. So that leaves Sandy alone with victim number 1 for her. Of course, she's been putting down a lot of effort on making sure that Dustin is under her thumb. And well, with them now being alone down here, I think that she's gonna be laying it on thick and yeah. Basically attack him, you know. And this, of course, makes Dustin extremely uncomfortable because Gordon and everyone is just upstairs. Like, what is she thinking? This is definitely not the time and place to do these things. But he's also kind of weak to her. He always does whatever she wants. And I think that Sandy is sort of playing around with the threat of coming over to his house and, you know, letting it all show to Meadow, his wife. And there's a lot of power in that, that she can lord over him. And I thought I told you to not be here. Gonna delete him. No, there's a lot of things that Dustin would do to not have that happen. So I think that Sandy is basically telling him that, you know, if you don't want that to happen, maybe we could do something else. We could go out and eat together. Isn't that nice? So she has these plans for him. And Dustin, I think, is feeling really frustrated with the whole situation. He's feeling trapped. He's not sure how to weasel out of this, and he can't really tell her no because of the fear of what will happen. And it's very obvious that she does whatever she wants to do, not really considering his own situation. So for now, she's going to go back upstairs and leave him alone. But he's going to be left with, you know, the fear of what's going to happen after all this. So he's feeling pretty poorly because he needs a shower. Did I even put in a shower here? There's no shower. Maybe I can switch out one of these dirty toilets for a shower. That works, I think. So you can actually go upstairs and have a shower. And Gordon actually needs to use the bathroom, so... Okay, so Nasim actually has become friends with Amin now. And he's starting to get closer with all of these guys. So as Dustin is finishing up in the shower, there actually is a customer coming in here all of a sudden. They don't get a lot of customers, but every now and then there is someone who wants to get their dry cleaning done. So I guess they both hear what's going on outside, that there's a customer. So Gordon is gonna tell Dustin to go help the customer. There we go. And then I guess Gordon is just gonna head here and work for a bit, while Dustin approaches Dion Stalker. Now this is not someone that Dustin recognizes. Of course, having grown up in Pleasantview, he basically knows everyone here. Like, this is a town where there's not a lot of people and most people know each other. So it's quite obvious to him that this is someone who has just moved in. And sure enough, when they start talking, that's what he learns as well. And of course, apparently, Dion is here to get some dry cleaning done, and he's asking Dustin a little bit about the town, what can be done here. And of course, Dustin is putting on, you know, the customer service face, the facade that he needs to use to manage the front of the business. And well, very shallowly just tells him a little bit about the town and, you know, a little bit about his background, that he grew up here and so on. And, you know, casually warning Dion of things that he should avoid, and, you know, giving some tips and tricks about who to talk to and who not to talk to. And yeah, he helps him out with getting his dry cleaning done and answers a few questions about the business and so on. But that's pretty much everything. So Dion is going to head out again after he has received the help, and that is the only customer that they have today. So Dustin is probably pretty much fed up with all of this, and he's not really feeling like heading downstairs again to hang out with the others. So I'm actually gonna make him leave as well. And as for Sandy, she's still downstairs here with the others. I think actually that Brooke and Carol are gonna head out as well. Now Sandy has been sitting here and needling them a little bit. Where is Amin though? Oh, he's watching TV downstairs. Okay. But yeah, I think that actually Sandy is going to approach him because she hasn't really gotten to know him very closely, and he is someone that she thinks is pretty attractive actually. So I think that she's going to scope out how she's going to get him under her control as well, and maybe use her wily charms. Nasim is sort of left alone here, so he's probably going to head upstairs and yeah, chat a bit with Gordon. So yeah, he is attracted to her as well. That's good. They're just going to talk for a bit and maybe flirt a little. So seeing Nasim up here, of course, Gordon is going to approach him. And he's apparently thinking about his stepfather. So maybe he wants to vent a little bit to a kindly listening ear. And of course, it's in Gordon's best interest to keep building this relationship, especially if Nasim is going to stick close to his daughter. Okay, and Sandy's starting to flirt. Apparently, Amin is a little bit shy. And of course, that's something that Sandy is going to use to her advantage. Yeah, so far he seems pretty interested and probably a fair bit scared as well. And yeah, you can see he's tensing up. He's really questioning, like, but you're with Gordon, what are you doing, you know? But of course now he knows that she has set her eyes on him. And I think that he's going to excuse himself after that slightly awkward encounter. And that being done, Sandy, of course, has been interacting with all of them. And I don't think that she has really seen through any of them. Like, she's not suspecting any of them to be working for someone else at the moment. Of course, she figures that anyone could be the person that she's looking for, but she needs more information about them. So it's about time that they leave, actually. So I think that they're just gonna head out. I'm gonna make Nasim unselectable again. And that's it. So they're gonna head back home. So they're back, and I'm just gonna go ahead and send them to work immediately. Here we go, carpool to work with Sandy. And let's meet them back when they return from work and school. Oh, thank you, Carol. She's very brave when no one's home. I guess she wanted to take out her frustrations on Sandy. There we go. There we have Jolie back from school. Okay, she brought Hallie, actually. So that's apparently a new budding friendship. Hallie Stratton. That's interesting. Yeah, I could see that working out. So why don't you just start by chatting for a bit? Looks like there's flies here. Is there like dirty food or something? Oh yeah, there's a plate there. I see. Okay, Mary Sue out for a walk. Maybe she's like walking by Lily's house because she's their neighbor. Just, scoping out what has been going on with their daughter, but not really daring to go in and visit her. Just sort of casually going on a walk and just happening to walk by, So I don't remember what Hallie's hobby is. She's a knowledge sim and she's into fitness, actually. That's interesting. What about Jolie? She's a little bit more active than Lacey. She's not really interested in fitness though. Maybe that's something that they could do together eventually. Yeah, they're actually getting along pretty well. That's nice. So why don't you use the bathroom and maybe clean this up because that's a bit disgusting. Yeah, looks like Hallie's already starting on the game, so I think that Jolie's just gonna join her. Even though this isn't really Jolie's biggest hobby, she's been playing games with her mother ever since she was young, so it's grown into an interest for her. Looks like she's a lot better than Hallie. Yeah, we have Gordon and Sandy back here now. They're both very tired, but that was because they were also at the community lot, so I'm just gonna bring that up a bit. And Sandy needs a bath, so I'm gonna have her take that. Gordon is apparently gonna answer the phone. Here we have another kid who's just playing around with Gordon's fridge, so I guess it's a fun fridge to play around with for some reason. Yeah, but knowing that her parents are back, I think that Jolie is just gonna say goodbye to Hallie. Oh, Sandy actually isn't back yet. Oh, she comes home 1 hour later. Okay, I guess she still had something to do then. But neither of her parents are actually hungry, so I think that Jolie is going to grab something to eat from the leftovers. Oh, there's nothing here. Okay, I'm just gonna clean out the fridge then. It's actually Jolie they're calling. Let's answer that. Oh, it's Nasim. Yeah, I think that maybe he's just calling to check if she wants to meet up. So, yeah, she tells him that he can come over, that's fine, later on today. But for now, she actually needs to eat something. So let's just have her cook something up, I guess. Have some, looks like she doesn't have any cooking skills. Oh, she has one, okay. So she can make some soup then, I guess. And Gordon decided to take a bath, all right. I guess the first thing that he needed to do was clean up the trash. Oh, he actually didn't do it for some reason. We felt dirty after that, I guess. Why don't you actually do what I asked you to do then, Gordon? Oh, nice. Julie has another cooking skill point. Nice. Now Sandy is actually back, so. It looks like these aspiration meters are not actually going down any. And I think that it has to do with them reaching the lifetime aspiration platinum level. Before I got the mod to not have permaplat, so they do have permaplat, but I can remove that setting with the sim manipulator, right? So you start with Sandy. Yeah, exactly. So it's aspiration, permaplatinum off. Good. I'm gonna do the same thing with Julie. She's actually a bit tired, so I think maybe she wants to have a nap after this. So it actually was a while since Sandy hung out with her best friend, Melissa Fancy. And I see that the relationship is starting to slip down a little bit, so I think maybe she wants to invite her over. Great. So she's on her way. Can go ahead and take out the trash. Yeah, so Gordon wants to maximize his skill and reach body level 7. So I think I'm just straight up gonna have him work out for a bit. Take care of the bills. And there's Melissa. Nice. So let's just have them go inside and chat on the couch for a bit. These two actually used to live together way back when. But now things have changed quite a lot. And there's also some wrinkles on their faces. You know, they have grown quite old. They're both very close to becoming elders at this point. So Julie is feeling better now. I think that she can wake up. And well, why don't you go ahead and call your boyfriend over? That's good. I think that she has time to take a quick shower. Great. Here we have Nasim. She greets her boyfriend the same way that her mother greets Dustin. So I think that these two would like to have some privacy, and I don't think that they necessarily want to try to sneak through here because Sandy's going to see that Nasim is here. So I think they're just going to sort of break into Gordon's car and yeah, make out or something. So they're going to have a bit of fun in there. And how are things going here? They're back to 100 short-term relationship. Maybe it's time for her to leave. And well, I guess Sandy can serve dinner. Yeah, and Gordon is done, I think. Have a shower. And then he needs a nap. Good, there's food. Gordon doesn't need to eat anything. Why don't you just take a nap there? She's getting really tired from that for some reason. I'm just going to bump that up because I can't deal with that. But yeah, they can get out and have some food now, actually. They've had the chance to spend some time together. Just going to ask Nasim to join as well. So Sandy has this wand locked in that she wants to woohoo with 10 different Sims. I'm curious how many she actually has woohooed with. So it's with Dustin, and Gordon actually rejected her once. She's woohooed with Don, so that's 2. 3, Brandon. Of course, Gordon, so 4. And Neri Turner, 5. And yeah, her first woohoo was with Abhijit, of course, so 6 Sims. So who could she target now? I mean, maybe just Amin is the best option at the moment, I think. So maybe she's just gonna set her eyes on him and seek him out. Hi, Bella. Just casually walking around. I guess she escaped again. Yeah, so she's feeling good. Gonna drop down her social so she can actually chat with Amin for a bit. So I think that Gordon is, taking his nap down here, but I think that he's also sort of like pretend sleeping, like listening with one ear to the teenagers as they're having their conversation. Of course, he's been sowing seeds in Nasim's mind about what he's supposed to do with his future, and he wants to see if that has borne any fruit. And of course, discussing things in private with his girlfriend is going to be a chance to be honest about such things. And I do think that Nasim is actually feeling quite uncertain and like he needs to discuss this with someone he trusts. So for sure, that's something that he would bring up with Yoli, I think. And now it looks like he's going to disturb Gordon. But I think that Gordon is also taking this opportunity to, spend some time alone with Nasim and sort of cement the groundwork that he's been starting to build with him while Julie is cleaning things up here. And I think that he is also, taking this opportunity to make sure that Nasim knows that he can come to him with his worries. He might not have a good, stable home life at the moment, but he can always come here if he needs to. I think he's actually going to approach him and talk to him. Oh, but I guess he needs to use the bathroom first, so let's leave him alone. Maybe you can talk to your daughter in the meantime. And I actually think that Nasim broke the sink. He keeps breaking things in this house. But yeah, I think that Gordon is telling Jolie to go and do her homework, to leave him some more time alone with Nasim so he can keep trying to get close. And again with the playing with the fridge. Okay, good. So she's actually friends with Amin now then. I think she's just gonna play some games for now. It looks like after the discussions they had today, Gordon is not as close with Dustin as he was previous to this. So I think actually it's a good idea to sort of ask Dustin to come over and fix his sink and then use that as an opportunity to, try to get back closer with him. Actually, it was Dustin calling him, ironically enough. But I guess Gordon is taking this opportunity to just tell him to come over. And Julie is actually done with her homework, so she can join Nasim here. And since Dustin actually just straight up called Gordon, I'm not going to have him call him back just to invite him over. I'm just going to summon Dustin in here. Okay, good. So Gordon is going to appreciate him for coming over. He's going to crack an inside joke. And he's going to talk a little bit about his hobby. There we go. And then I guess Dustin can just head in here and do the dirty work. Or the grunt work, I should say. I guess Gordon is just going to sit down here with the teenagers again. Dustin actually isn't very good at doing this kind of work. He only has one mechanical skill, but of course he's going to do whatever Gordon says. He actually needs another skill point, so maybe that's a good thing that he's working on this, even though he's, of course, struggling. Yeah, it's starting to get late, so I think that Yoli is gonna say goodbye to Nasim. And then she can go to bed. Oh, good work, Dustin. He's actually done. So I guess he's gonna just mop this up. I think Sandy's gonna sit down in the couch and Gordon wants to use the bathroom before he goes to bed. And Dustin can actually join her on the couch. Right, so Gordon is going to sleep, and I think that Sandy is taking this opportunity to, make things a bit difficult for Dustin. Pulling him into this very, nerve-wracking situation. If there's anywhere he wouldn't need to be at this moment, it's right here. Knowing that Gordon can come in here at any moment. And I think that Sandy is also using this opportunity now that she's alone and have Dustin under her control to try to needle him a little bit, to try to, scope out if he could possibly be the person who is giving information about the organization to someone else. But yeah, I think that she thinks that he's too pathetic to actually suspect him of anything. So I think that if there's anyone that Sandy is sure of, that he's actually innocent, then it's Dustin. And I think that with that done, she's not going to drag this out. She's just going to say goodbye to him. It's time to leave. Get out of here. Not very kindly. But yeah, she's going to head to bed. And with that said, let's move over to the next household. So we're in the Cormier household, and Andrea's gone off to work, and the kids have been at school, and Jason has been home alone today, taking care of the household and playing some guitar. And Nasim has only just returned here now with the school bus. And of course, following, both everything that's been going on in his life recently, and the discussions he's had with his new friends, combined with, feeling rebellious and like he wants to try to steer his own future. And of course, a lot of pressure coming from his mother as well, having raised him as a single parent and have really instilled in him that he needs to be successful and he needs to make a good life for himself. It's always been very clear to him that he's expected to attend university and get a degree and aim for a career and, what's a successful life in his mother's eyes. And, that pressure and the feelings of betrayal that he has, and probably needing a lot of support that he's not receiving from someone he can rely on. He's really undecisive at the moment and doesn't really know what to do with himself. He brought Amelia with him from school today, so I guess he's just gonna sit down and play with her for a bit. And of course, Jason is standing there in the corner playing on his guitar, and Nasim is instantly annoyed by that, making all of that noise. And in his mind being obnoxious, and they can't really hear the game that they're playing because of all the sound coming from the guitar, He doesn't really hear that it's sounding good. He's just annoyed by Jason's presence, basically. So I think that Nasim is gonna march up to him and, ask him, shove him, and tell him to cut it out, stop making so much noise, stop being so obnoxious. And of course, Jason is instantly on the defense and upset with Nasim for being so confrontational, and he's going to lecture him. And Nasim doesn't really care what Jason thinks. He's just annoyed with him and wants him to get out of his face, basically. And of course, Amelia thinks that this is pretty awkward situation to be in. So I think that she's just gonna sort of excuse herself, like, it seems like I'm interrupting something. Maybe I should head out, actually. So she's leaving, and well, Nasim is pretty annoyed now then, because in his eyes, Jason just chased away a friend that he wanted to get to know better. So he's gonna march up to his bedroom again, I think. And he's gonna do the only thing that he knows what to do at this moment. He's gonna call someone and ask for advice. Let's see who is the closest with at the moment. Well, I actually think that he would call Ricky and talk to him. And, maybe not ask straightforwardly what to do in this exact situation, more like asking for life advice. And, Ricky is all about doing what you want and not being restrained by other people's limits, as long as everyone is, consenting and everything. But he's all about freedom and not necessarily walking the beaten path. And maybe that would have been good advice to give to a teenager who wants to find their path. But in this particular situation, it actually makes Nasim feel even more conflicted and even more confused about what he's supposed to do. Because technically, he's supposed to move to university today, and that's what's been expected of him. But after everything, he's not sure what to do with himself. So I guess he's gonna hang up on Ricky, freshen up a bit, and then maybe try to play some games again. The football game is actually one that Jason bought for him, so I don't think that he would sit down to play that, actually, just out of principle. Okay, I guess Amelia is calling Nasim to check if everything is okay. So I guess Nasim can talk to her. And well, Jason wants to get more friends. I think maybe Goopy is an interesting option because they are pretty much the same age, I think. So why don't you call up Goopy? Yes, I think that Nasim is probably, being a bit short with Amelia. She did just walk out on him after all, and I think that any interest he had in getting to know her better disappeared pretty quickly as well. She's only just aged into a teenager, actually, and he's just about to become a young adult. So I think that it might have been just a fleeting interest that disappeared quickly. Right, so Irene and Andrea are back now as well. And I think that Andrea is just gonna walk up to Nasim and, ask him if everything is prepared, if he's ready for the big move, for heading out to university. And of course, he's gonna tell her that, no, actually, I'm not quite ready yet. And, well, it starts up a pretty big argument between the two of them because, of course, Andrea has been very worried about her son for quite a while now. He started to, be out late at night. She's seen him around people that he never used to hang out with before. And there was also that incident when he arrived home in a police car, So he's been acting out and she has been worried about him. And now all of a sudden, he's telling her that he's not sure about going to college after all, getting an education. And she's really, going to question him like, like, what do you mean? What are you going to do? You're just a kid. You don't know anything about the world. You don't know what is a good path to take. And if you think that you're going to be successful from just lazing about, doing nothing all day, you're going to get a reality check really, really soon. And of course, Nasim is not really capable of taking that in a positive way. It just makes him even more upset, and he feels like his mother just wants one thing from him. She doesn't really care about what he wants and what he thinks. She just wants to push him in the direction that she wants him to be in. So he actually tells her that, you know what? I'm not gonna do what you tell me. I'm gonna decide myself where my life is gonna take me, and you can't force me to do anything. And well, with those angry words said, he is going to, just head out. And of course, Andrea is calling after him, like, where do you think you're going? But he's not listening, he's just leaving. So Nasim leaving the house is not unusual whatsoever. So Andrea actually just takes it in stride for now, expecting that, of course, he needs to steam off. There's something that's going under his skin again. And he just needs to cool down and then he'll come right back. So for now, she's just going to let it all rest. And the family's just going to sort of mind their own business for now. Jason can go ahead and serve lunch. He's really not used to cooking, though. Maybe we can just have some coffee. Irene apparently has pneumonia, so I think that I just need to throw her in bed, honestly, because I don't want any more bad things to happen. So I think that she's actually just going to sit down here in the sofa and vent to Jason. Like, what on earth has gone under his skin? What is wrong with that boy? Why all of a sudden? Like, she's sure known that things are not going that well for Nasim, that he's having a lot of struggles and that he's been very angry lately. But she didn't really see this coming, that he would, in her mind, ruin his entire future for just being a rebellious teenager. And she's starting to get scared of what is actually going to happen to him if she can't guide him in the right direction. Jason is not very surprised, though, I don't think. I think that he's definitely seen this coming, and he's not really as enchanted with her son as Andrea is. Jason has seen a lot of bad sides of Nasim for many years now, and even though he thinks that this is sad and something that he would not want to happen, mostly for his wife's sake, he can't really honestly tell her that, this is all out of the blue. I actually think that you need to give little Jake a bath instead. So there's food now. I guess little Irene can eat something. So I think that this thing with Nasim is really nagging at Andrea's brain, and she wants to, call around and ask for some advice from other people. Like, the first thought of hers is probably going to be like, has Nasim been talking to his father about this? Does Abhijit have any insight at all? Does he know what's going on? So she's going to start by just calling him. And, of course, Abhijit has been hanging out a little bit with Nasim recently, because Nasim has been coming over to the nursing home to play games and, get to know him a bit. But yeah, Abhijit can't really tell her that he's heard any signs that he's gonna just decide not to attend college and get an education. So, they hang up pretty quickly. And I think that Andrea is gonna call up her little brother as well to see if he has been talking to Nasim lately. And of course, Ricky tells her at once that, yeah, sure, I talked to him earlier today. What's up? And, well, I guess Andrea is telling him about all of the things that they were arguing about, and the fact that he ran out of the house once again and hasn't been back for dinner yet. So she's starting to get a little bit worried. But I guess that Ricky is just reinforcing what she already is thinking, that he needs to call off, and he promises to let her know if he sees him, and he promises to also try to call Nasim and see if he can talk to him. So Andrea hangs up quickly to not disrupt that, to allow Ricky to actually call Nasim. And is there anyone else she would call? No, I don't think so. I think that those two are the people that she would talk to about this. So I think she's just gonna go and distract herself by sitting down here with her daughter. So after a while of this, I think that Andrea's phone is ringing again. And it's Ricky just calling to tell her that he's been talking to Nasim and that he's safe, that he's gonna stay with friends for a bit, and that he was very clear right now that he has a lot of things to think through. And Andrea that's not really sitting well with her. So she is trying to push the subject a bit with Ricky, but I think that Ricky is also sort of taking the stance that, give him some time. He needs to work this through. If he hasn't been home in a few days, we know that he's with friends, and let's try to see if we can figure out exactly where he is, but let's give him some time. This all will be a lot smoother if he actually can decide on his own to come back. And well, Andrea is just agreeing to that and hanging up the call, but I think that she is also going to try herself to call Nasim as well, to see if she can talk to him and try to talk some sense into him. And he is actually picking up her call, but he doesn't really want to talk to her. So quite abruptly, before she has even had time to, try to weasel out where he's at, he's gonna just click her and hang up. And he's not gonna respond to any more of her calls for now. So Andrea, still feeling anxious, has to sort of accept defeat for now, and needs to just go through her evening routine and try to distract herself with other things. Irene is feeling a lot better now, so I think that she can actually go upstairs and do her homework. She actually hasn't been taught how to do her homework though, so I guess maybe Jason can help her with that. Normally I would have probably asked Andrea because she's working as a teacher after all, but I think that she's too distracted at the moment, so I think that she's just gonna sit and mindlessly watch TV for a while. Great. So the little girl has learned, and I guess she can just take a bath for now. Jason is gonna head downstairs and try to console his wife as best he can. And I think that she would cave and move closer to him, try to seek his comfort. And I think that in this moment where it's quiet all around her, it's dark, and she doesn't know what's next, what's going to happen. She's actually going to lean into her husband and, allow herself to cry and feel sad about the situation and just let everything out. She's used to being a very strong individual that is capable of everything. She's going to allow Jason to support her, at least for a little bit. And I think that, they're basically going to go to bed after this. All right, so let's finish this off with the last family. Well, apparently we weren't that lucky. We have a burglary here now. We have Carol breaking in, and I guess that she wants to prove herself after everything that Sandy accused her of today at work. So she's going to be sneaking into their house while they're sleeping. So there's no burglary alarm in this house. And so far they haven't heard her yet. So she's going to be grabbing something. Looks like it might be Andrea's car. Another item for Gordon's stash, or rather some more money for him, because I'm not going to keep the cars in this cellar. I'm going to grab the other car too. Yep. Okay. Well, I guess she knows what's valuable. Gonna be the guitar. Yeah, figured. Oh, it was the painting, actually. I see. Yeah, they have pretty expensive paintings. Okay, that was apparently it. So, score for you. Yeah, and now Jason woke up and like, what on earth is going on? So yeah, I guess they're gonna run downstairs and realize what's happened. No? Yep, the painting is gone. Sorry about that. Well, while these two get to terms with what's just happened, let's move on to the final family. For real this time. And over at the Bear residence, I've actually only just moved them in. Of course, it's the morning, so Russ is going to go ahead and just drive to work, while Alvin actually has the day off today. He's going to stay home with the little toddler, little Ryan Bear, who has not learned to walk yet. You can see he actually hasn't learned any of his toddler skills. And then, of course, their little dog, Lucky. So let's just start this with maybe cuddling a little toddler. Let's see. Yes, I do have the dog bowl here and it's already filled up, so that's good. Let's just head inside. So, you know, compared to the other families around here, this family is sort of having a domestic bliss at the moment. They've achieved a lot of things that they've aimed for quite a while. Of course, both Russ and Alvin have wanted to have a child, but they've had a difficult time getting one. And when they got Ryan, that was sort of a dream come true. And very recently, of course, Russ fell in love with Alvin finally, and they popped the question. And, you know, Alvin is sort of living in the dreamland at the moment, being very excited about these developments and looking forward to having a wedding and everything. And also, you know, moving into this new house, getting away from that old apartment complex that they've been living in for years and years. You know, things are really looking up. And even though Alvin is, of course, somewhat aware of the nature of what Russ is doing at work, he can, you know, sort of cast a blind eye to it and ignore it and not really worry too much about what exactly is going on in Russ's line of business. That's the way that he's decided to resolve that, you know, moral dilemma, to just sort of close his eyes and pretend that it doesn't exist. And, you know, he wants to try to build a safe and stable life for their little child, Ryan, now as well. And of course, that's something that Russ also wants. Even though there's a lot of stormy weather and trouble going on around them, things are looking very nice at home. And that is, of course, something that Russ is desperate to protect. Looks like I have locked in invite Gordon over, but I think that I'm gonna lock in the throwaway wedding party want instead. He wants to see Sandy dead. And apparently he's also enemies with someone called Opal. Yep, he actually hates her more than Sandy. He's really bad friends with Joe Brunig as well for some reason. Okay, an Iris Copper. Oh, wow, okay. Alvin also hates Opal. He's not as angry with her, but... Oh, there we go. So little Ryan has learned to walk. Perfect. Lock in the learn to talk want as well. But for now, let's just give him some food. And Alvin also needs to eat some breakfast. So Alvin is, of course, still very close with his sisters and also Phoenix and Ricky, who he used to live with. They were roommates with them. And he used to be neighbors with Iris, so I think that's why they're close. And I'm pretty sure that I tried to build a relationship with Johnson Hamilton as well, because they are colleagues. And he used to be very close with Kennedy Cox, apparently, but they are not close anymore. And those are pretty much the relationships he has. Okay, so there's a chance card. As of late, pickings have been thin in the con artist racket. The Vice Squad has been breathing down Russ's neck, and the Consumer Affairs Committee has launched an aggressive television ad campaign warning would-be victims to the dangers of recent confidence schemes. Russ has a few tricks up his sleeve, though. A contract has offered him some office space that might work well as the pretext for a classic vacation timeshare scam, a surefire way to swindle the elderly out of their retirement funds. Or seeing as times are tough, Russ could go with the old door-to-door insurance policy scheme. I don't think that, going door-to-door for Russ would be very successful because he's very scary looking. So I don't think that people would really want to talk to him. So I think that I'm going to go with the timeshare scheme. Russ opens up shop and within an hour already has his first pair of suckers. He sells them some forged timeshare paperwork, some imaginary stock in their local shopping mall, and even ends up throwing in a non-existent speedboat. When all is said and done, Russ has conned them out of 8,000 simoleons. Job well done, he closes down the storefront, pockets the cash and earns 1 creativity point, ready to scam another day. Very devious, but that gave them quite a lot of money. Nice. To be honest, that money, I don't think that Russ would be able to keep all of that money, right? Because he performed well at work, but it's Gordon's business, right? So I think that he's gonna send like 7,000 out of that to Gordon, actually. Let's put Ryan down, and they also have bills, so I think that I should probably send the money now before I forget to do it, and then he can pay the bills at the same time. All right. Well, the kid is playing for now, and Lucky needs some attention, though. He's not fully trained in his behavior, so not praise for hostility, though. Can give him some love. Yeah, that's better. Nice. So how is Ryan feeling? Okay, he could be potty trained, I think. And he can head to bed. Just checking if he can get any more benefits, and he could. Nice. Then he has all of them. And meanwhile, I think that Alvin should probably try to call up, like... Well, both Iris and Johnson are still his colleagues, right? So... And they all should have the day off, I think. So I guess you could invite both of them over. Well, actually, he's also colleagues with Iris's roommate, Lily, or girlfriend, I should say. So I guess you can invite them both. Do I want them to bring Lucy? I guess Lucy could do with some more friends, right? Why not? Oh, well, let's see who shows up then. Oh, you can't sit in that chair? I guess I'm gonna put it on an object rotator. Now it should work. Yep, good. Okay, nice. So here we have Johnson. Oh, Iris didn't bring anyone. I guess it was only she who wanted to come then. All right, that's fine. Why don't you guys head inside? Let's see if Alvin can make some friends. Are you gonna join, Iris? No? Why can't he ask her to join again? That's silly. Let's do this then. Yeah, her face is frozen as well. Let's just fix that quickly. Much better. Yeah, things are going really well with Johnson, but for some reason he's not really growing closer with Iris. Maybe she needs to talk more. Well, I think Alvin can go ahead and serve some lunch. Ryan is still okay. Yes, he's feeling good. Nice. Oh, he's using the oven. I should have asked him to cook on the stove. Oh well. Looks like Johnson and Iris aren't really agreeing on politics, but as soon as they started talking about rocket ships, oh, that's another topic altogether. I hadn't really thought about it for some reason, but actually Alvin is living opposite to his sister right now. So it's very easy for him to go see Meadow whenever he wants to, or for her to come over here, of course. Things are still not improving with Iris. I guess he's gonna have to talk to her specifically after this. Oh, there we go. That's better. Oh, okay, she left. I guess she needed to use the bathroom, but it was occupied. That's fine. I actually think that he can, crack a joke and talk a little bit more with Johnson, but then ask him to leave as well. All right, and right on cue, we also have Russ back now then. Actually, he can eat that one instead of Alvin putting it away. For some reason, the dog decided to sleep out here. Apparently, that's more comfortable than being cozy and warm inside on his dog bed. Maybe he thinks that he's a husky. Okay, yeah, Ryan needs some things, so let's take care of the kid. It's so close, but not quite there. Yeah, I think that you need to use the loo and then probably drink some coffee or something. Starting to get tired. Still lying out here. I wonder why this particular spot is so comfortable. I guess maybe he's just used to being a guard dog or something. Like he's supposed to be a failed police dog, but maybe some part of the training stuck with him. Keeping the house safe. Yeah, maybe let's forget about coffee. Maybe just take a nap instead. He's really tired now. Why? Why aren't you napping? It keeps waking up for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe let's just go with that coffee after all then. Okay, so the dog is eating snow. I think that something is wrong with the food bowl. Like he's not finding it or something, so I'm just gonna buy a new one. And then just use the sim blender. Misk, clean and fill pet dishes. Hopefully that works. Yeah, good. Now we found the bowl. I'm gonna bring this up a little bit. Makes more sense. Go ahead and praise Lucky for not destroying the furniture. It's a good idea, but he does want to do something fun. And he does need one cooking skill point for work, so maybe he just needs to watch the cooking channel or something. And that's good. Now he's a well-trained boy. I think Russ can probably give up on this now. Okay, nice. Lucky realized it was warmer now inside. That's good. He still hasn't found the pet bed yet, though. It's not on the wrong way around, is it? No? All right. He just likes it uncomfortable, I guess. Okay, good. So little Ryan is awake again. I think that Russ can probably train him to talk once he's had his coffee. Oh, nice. Alvin got the cooking skill. I think that maybe Alvin wants to call up his friends again. He already is very... well, it's gone down a lot since he met Iris, so can call her up again. And I think that maybe calling up Phoenix is a good idea as well. So let's stop this and call his friends. So, thinking about their wedding, did I make either of these two faithful, come to think of it? So let's start with Russ. No, he's an atheist, actually. And I think Alvin might be as well. No, he's faithful. Okay, I mean, I guess that makes sense. What with his sister being the local priest and everything. I mean, I think that their whole family is pretty religious. And speaking of that, I think that Alvin would definitely want his sister to marry them. But of course, Russ is not interested in that at all. That might be something that they are arguing about. Like, do we really have to have a wedding in the house of the Watcher? Can't we just have it something informal, just the two of us or the few of our small family, not very many other people? But I think that Russ is aware that Alvin is making some sacrifices to stay with him, so I think maybe he wants to give him what he wants in this situation. I guess they are planning their church wedding then. That's good, they're friends, so I think that he's gonna call up Phoenix as well. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. Don't ask someone on a date, please. That could have been bad. I think that if I had accidentally clicked Phoenix, he would have said yes as well, because they are attracted to one another. He's pretty close with learning to talk, but he needs to use the potty again, so I think let's prioritize that for now. Oh good, Lucky found the dog bed finally. Nice. Great. So you learned to potty. Only one skill left now. Okay, and Navin has hung up. I think he can brave the cold and go out and stargaze for a bit. Oh, it's not even cold enough to have outerwear. I think I'm gonna change him into outerwear just because it looks better. You can use the bathroom for now. Yeah, then this little guy needs some more food. So as Russ is serving his kid food, there's a sound at the door. Someone is here and he's going to go and see who it is. And well, it's little Nasim. For some reason wanted to clean up a puddle. So he's rocked up here. So Russ is gonna greet him. You know, they've started to grow a bit close here now. And Russ is pretty close as well with his uncle, Ricky. He should be, at least. He isn't? I mean, they did live together, but I guess they didn't really stay in contact. But they are very familiar. He's very familiar with his uncle, I could say then. So I guess he's feeling a little bit like an older brother figure or like an uncle figure for Nasim as well. So I guess he's just gonna invite him in, even though he's, of course, confused why he's shown up here. And Nasim is gonna tell him he wants to make a Jason a zombie. That's dark. But he's gonna sort of just tell Russ about everything that's been going down and the fact that he's run out of the house and he's now not wanting to go back home for now. He doesn't know exactly what to do with himself. And Russ is a bit outraged here now that Nasim apparently wants to put an end to his studies. And he's really, questioning, like, what are you talking about? Where is this coming from all of a sudden? And, well, Nasim is looking awkward, but he's just sort of shrugging and saying that, can I crash here for a bit? And Russ is not opposed to that. He can shelter him for a while. So I think that Nasim is just gonna sort of sit here and tend to his own stuff while Russ is taking care of his kid here. Right, so let's just let Ryan out. And I actually think that, oh, apparently this is broken. Nice. But I actually think that Russ would call up Gordon in this situation. Like, he wouldn't contact Nasim's family or anything, but he would reach out to his own fatherly figure to sort of ask, if is everything good? What should I do about this situation? Just let Gordon be the deciding factor here. And, well, of course, Gordon thinks that this is good. Nasim has left his mother's influence, so I bet he would just say to Russ to support Nasim with whatever he wants and, let him crash and that they can figure things out together. And I think that Gordon is probably also sowing a few seeds in Russ's mind, suggesting that Nasim's home life is worse than it actually is. Maybe that, the relationship with his stepfather is far, far worse and that he really needs this escape and that they should trust him, that he knows best for himself what to do about his life. And I guess Russ is, just trusting Gordon with that information, since Gordon has been closer with Nasim after all. He knows him way better. So that's that. So I guess they're just going to sit down here together for a little bit, and Russ is basically just going to tell Nasim that, sure, you can crash here for a bit, whatever you need. Just let me know if there's anything on your mind. And of course, Alvin is going to come in now as well. And he's actually never met Nasim, so I think that he would just, walk up to him looking pretty surprised that he's sitting here all of a sudden. So they're meeting each other, and yeah, I think that he would just, sort of pull Russ into the bedroom and, ask him what's up. So I think that Alvin is pretty dubious about this whole situation. He is, of course, way, way closer with Ricky than Russ is at this point. And I think that Alvin's first instinct is to call Ricky and ask him. But I think that Russ is pretty firm with this, having just spoken to Gordon and having clear instructions on what to do. So for now, Alvin is going to sit quiet and just let things be, because I think this is also that situation that Alvin feels that if he asks too many questions about this as well, that he's going to start to wander on dangerous territory, and he still wants to keep a blind eye to what Russ is actually doing day to day. So when Russ is telling him to leave something, he's going to trust it, even though perhaps he shouldn't. So he's just going to, forget about this, freshen up and go to bed, while Russ is also heading to bed. And I guess that Nasim can grab something to eat first of all. And little Ryan needs to go to bed also. And then I guess Nasim is going to just crash on their couch for a bit. It's the same thing here as well. All the leftovers are ruined for some reason. So I think after having been out on town and sort of walked through the neighborhood and tried to come up with his own ideas about what to do with himself, he's feeling more self-assured now. And he's also feeling self-righteous, like, I know what's best to do about my own life, and I have these friends that can support me when my family doesn't. So this is the right thing to do. He still hasn't decided on what he actually is going to do about college. If he actually is gonna, completely skip out and find a job or something instead, or whatever he's gonna do. But I feel like the decision is more up to him alone now that he's out of his mother's house. And he also is very pleased that he doesn't have to have the daily annoyance of having Jason around as well. So why don't you turn this off and just, I guess he's gonna crash out on the couch. And with that was the end of this episode. It's a lot of dark stuff going on with these people, but what can you expect from criminals, right? I'm gonna have to see what Nasim decides to do and what else happens with these guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.